Major funding for these broadcasts has been provided by grants from New York Community Bank, AmTrust Title Insurance Company, Perfect Building Maintenance, M&T Bank, Customers Bank, Marks Paneth LLP, Capital One Bank, Collins Building Services, Meridian Capital Group. Additional support has been provided by grants from AKA Hotel Residences Corman Communities, Ariel Property Advisors, Amarant Bank, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Briarwood Organization, Chase Commercial Mortgage Lending, Chase Commercial Term Lending, Citizens Bank, Dime Community Bank, Douglaston Development Levine Builders, Flushing Bank, Friedman LLP, Handro Properties LLC, Handler Real Estate Organization, Hodges Ward Elliott INC, Investors Bank, James D. Kuhn Real Estate Institute at Syracuse University, John Casamatides Red Apple Group, Keysight Capital Partners, Matone Group, New Banks, Newmark Knight Frank, Ocean First Bank, Optimum Window Manufacturing Corp., People's United Bank, Rockefeller Group, Rosewood Realty Services, Stonehenge NYC, SVN CPEX Real Estate Services, Tierra CRG, the Marengo Family Foundation, and these friends. Welcome back to the second part of the Stoller Report broadcast on the challenges of operating a restaurant during COVID-19. My guests include Drew Napor, the Myriad Restaurant Group, Melville Wilson, Melville's Restaurant, Shelley Fireman, the Fireman's Hospitality Group, Cedric Von Gretchen, Wayan and Perry Street, and Douglas Kim, Jeju Noodle Bar. Last week we had a rousing conversation about the legal action being considered by many of these owners and other restaurant leaders against insurance companies for insurance claims for business interruption insurance. Here's a question for all of you. What today, that the pandemic is, there are less cases in New York. What percentage of our business is delivery today? Shelley, are you having much delivery?
Say, by the way, I know the volume, honest to God, I know the volume we do with Fiorello's. And I tell you the truth, I pay attention to the gross sales, not how much is delivery and how much is in the cafe. I'm here in Bedford, they're in Manhattan. I don't know how to answer. I can't answer that question. I'm doing about $90,000 a week at Fiorello's, which is $90,000. That's it. That's what I know. I don't care where it comes from. That's it is. That's the number.
The other people on the panel, Douglas, Cedric, and Melbourne, Drew.
Yeah, I mean, for us, average week is like $3,000
So
$3,000 total?
per week for delivery.
Oh, for delivery.
Cedric?
So we have delivery between Caviar, DoorDash, which are now combined, and GrabHub. I think it's 10% of our revenue. Ready meals at home that we send over is probably 20 to 30%, depending on the week. We do about 1,200 meals that we send that we ship to people, and then the rest is basically from outdoor dining.
So wait, you created a ready meal business due to the pandemic?
We partner with a company to do that, but on the side note, I'm working with some other chefs and partners to do actually our own delivery system, ready meals at home. We want something that is a little more elevated in terms of the packaging and the delivery system, because I feel like a lot of the time all of my friends will tell me if they order something from the restaurant, by the time it's a third party that's delivering that food, by the time the food arrives there, the bag is ripped apart. I mean it looks like crap basically in those containers. I'm sure this is going to keep on increasing the demand for the next few years, so we seem, we're trying to work on that basically.
I have a question for this group. I order in sometimes, and I don't want, when the guy comes to the door and he smells so badly and he looks so disheveled, I don't really want to take the food in. If you guys, some guys pick up from and deliver for me, I see at Fiorella's, I don't want to give them the food even. Why isn't there some demand
Michael,
on our part to clean up these guys? Their body odor is unbearable sometimes.
Michael, Shelley, as usual.
Am I right?
Shelley, as usual, has brought up a good point. I'm just going to weigh in a little bit on takeout. It represents, it really is not a large portion. Sometimes some food is designed to go in a package and you can bring it home and reconstitute it and it's going to be okay. Chinese food, for years, it's been the greatest takeout food. They put in those stupid boxes, comes fantastic. Okay, but I've been taking out quite a bit before I got open in my own restaurants. Two things I noticed: they always forget something. Oh, we forgot the cauliflower. Oh, there's always something missing. That's number one. Number two, it's uniformly terrible. It's never, and especially like a better restaurant, like, all of us, we run really good restaurants. The food just is, but we don't know if the customer, if their expectation is tempered, so they give us a pass, but it's never the same as when you eat it in the restaurant.
This is why we want to push for that. We want to make it, there's definitely a lot of room for improvement, and I think a demand where we can elevate that, elevate the service. You shouldn't just be a driver dropping that food. It should be like a runner, somebody from our own restaurant, our own company, delivers you the bag and respect that food, and can even explain you the food as he drops you in front of your house, So I think there's a lot of room for improvement for that.
Michael, so the thing that we really should also mention, people in New York, there's a vast majority who will not go out right now because they don't feel it's safe, whether indoor or outdoor.
Correct.
Right.
So, and then we have some spokespeople for the industry who say, we need a vaccine first. Okay. I was one of those people. I went along with the program, but then I saw all my fellow restaurateurs and chefs being very innovative and opening here and there. And I said, I got to give it the good college try. But it's not just tourism that we're lacking. It's the confidence in the customer to come back. And that's what we have to, the government right now has to give us some straight answers about the virus. And if they don't feel that it's safe, they have to tell us now, not wait until the 11th hour when, we have to deliver the bad news to our staff.
I totally agree with you, Drew. There needs to be a plan, and FOMO and our mayor, there's got to be a plan. Otherwise, I feel like we're with blindfolds and we don't know what to do. And someone made a statement earlier that we're operating at a moment's notice. We're just pivoting, and thank God we're able to do that, but a lot of us can't. So what about the small business owner that's one restaurant that saved up money like I did in order to invest in their business? I looked between 110th and 121st Street. There are 11 businesses that have closed in a 10-block radius. That's hurtful to me.
But how could you demand an answer from people who don't have an answer? You're living in a should world. The world should be a better place. People should know more. They don't know more. I talked to a head of a hospital. He knows as much as you do. They don't have an answer.
I think it's the question of people being comfortable going into into even outdoor seating, because
they don't know the right answer to give you.
No. Shelley.
Yeah.
It took a long time to figure out that a mask would be the necessary thing to protect you, or for you to be protected from others. It took us a long time. Now, when people come to our restaurant, they sit at a table wearing a mask, and the minute the drink comes, they take the mask off. Right. The mask is now off for an hour and a half. In other words, a cocktail on a table doesn't suddenly make the germs go away.
What do you want them to do, Drew? Tell you what
they can do certain things. They can say, when people are approaching your table to serve or whatever, put the mask back on. If we want to be able to open indoors, there has to be more vigilance in terms of the safety factors. That's what I'm saying.
Right, but if you don't open up indoors, you're not going to be in business in 6
But
months.
how are we sending
I
kids
know
back?
that. That's why the government and the insurance companies have to step in, because I don't see how we're gonna open in 6 months. I talked to the head of hospitals, they
You're
don't
right.
know.
Kids back to
Most of us,
school.
the PPP is either run out, the PPP is either run out, or it's about to run out. So
Or
once
we do it again.
once the PPP runs out, there's going to be so many more
Do it
people in
again.
unemployment in New York because they haven't allowed us to reopen the restaurants.
But Michael, how are we then sending kids back to school? If it's
That's crazy.
open restaurants, how
For
are
8
we
hours.
sending kids back to school?
By the way, I don't think you should send kids back to school. Now, how are you gonna keep them home? How can you keep them home? It's not fair. Nothing is fair in this world. That's what we have to understand. It's an unfair world, baby. That's
Okay,
the way
Shelley,
we're gonna make it fair.
you're right. And then you look at Europe and you look at, Copenhagen and
I
all
speak
these
to
different
Italy
places.
every day.
It's business as
I have-
usual.
I live in Italy. I have a home in Italy. I've lived there 30 years. I speak to Americans and Italians in Italy every day. They're dining outdoors. The restaurants are just surviving like Fiorello surviving. And they have, we're surviving. That's all. Nobody's
What
doing
about
great.
Baltimore Harbor? You have a restaurant in Baltimore Harbor.
So it's a catastrophe because Gaylords, I'll tell you what it is. The reality is Gaylords came to the union or the union came to Gaylords, which seats about, Gaylord seats about 2,000 hotel rooms. It's the biggest hotel there. And they said, we need some help. We need some help. They went to the unions. The union said, not only I'm not giving you any help, but I'm going to charge you more for the help you have. So Gaylord said, is all, I'm closing down the 2,000 room hotels. Now everybody's out of a job, and that's National Harbor on the Potomac. Except my little freaking pizza joint does well because of the 10 people that are there, they're eating pizza. So it's a catastrophe. If the insurance companies to pay for all the years we've been paying for business interruption insurance.
I agree with
They
Shelley.
they knew there was a pandemic somewhere. If Dustin Hoffman made that film 10 years ago about a pandemic. Don't tell me the insurance companies will look at it all day, didn't know there's going to see something going to happen. They
I
didn't
agree.
charge us, they didn't protect us, and the government hasn't protected, and the courts haven't protected us. If this isn't business interruption, what the hell is it?
I believe that it's very important that this Restaurant Act, which has been discussed for the last 2 months, this $120 billion program is available, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to keep the restaurants. Even though it may be a grant, the grant may be not required to be paid later on. It's an important fact. I think there has to be a clarification on the grant process and a clarification on the repayment process. I think the insurance companies, enough of it, they've been getting paid premiums all these years, have to take an advocate role over there. With regard to landlords, you can't really expect them. Many of them are being reasonable. They're accepting percentage rents. They're trying to work with you, but they're in the same problem that you have. They have payments that they have to pay to their mortgage. With regard to the community, the government, I never get politically, but I think there has to be a decision when you're going to open up the restaurants, because you cannot survive being a part-time business, being outside. God forbid the rain comes. What if we have another Hurricane Sandy? Then you're going to start, all of your things that you've built are going to be down the drain. So I think we have to work with that. But I'd like everybody to give me your final comments we know Shelley's final comments, which will be continual. Cedric, what do you see your thoughts right now with regard to the pandemic and what's going to happen?
I think New York is doing better, much better. I mean, we had really very difficult, rough start back in March, and New Yorker did great in bringing those numbers down. Overall, I think we should need to know what's our plan in the next couple of months. I mean, if the answer is that we won't be able to open until next spring, let us know so we can plan accordingly, and whatever remaining PPP, we put it aside and we will try our best, but we can't just wait until September, October and find out an answer. It's going to be too late, and a lot of restaurants are going to close by then. It's just getting more foresight, basically, more answers.
Douglas?
Yeah, so I mean, me as like with all the honest respect, I'm just a small business guy. Trying to run a small restaurant in West Village. So talk about PPP. I mean, we go back to the question, but I didn't actually when I got a PPP, and the question was like, I didn't even touch it yet because that was like for me like, as a backup plan. And one of the reasons why was we used to have almost 28 people that are working for the restaurant, but now we only have 9 people. So for me, I don't know what's the right answer, but it's like I don't have that much information, so I have to see. I sometimes ask Drew what's going to happen this New York City, things like that. So basically, I have to wait, but then also same time is I gotta make sure this business is stretched as far as much as possible. So like only thing I can do is like make sure that we have a better healthy operations and try to stay as long as possible.
Melba? You
Yeah,
talked about pivoting and adaptability.
yeah, pivoting is definitely my word for this year. However, I do represent small business owners, just like Douglas is a small business owner, and I also represent Black and business owners of color. And a lot of us do not have additional funds where we can stay open until there is a vaccine found, or a lot of us will not be able to last another 2 to 3 months. And those are the businesses that I worry about. While income is extremely small, we all know that in the food and beverage industry and the restaurant industry, we have to be at a minimum of 75% capacity in order for us to, first of all, pay our bills, and hopefully make anywhere between 7 to 14% profit if we're lucky. A lot of my neighbors, I don't see that happening. And when we talk about PPP, 95% of Black-owned businesses did not receive any funding from the PPP loan, which was slated for small business owners. I'm extremely worried about the restaurant industry for brown and beige people that look like me, for the small business owners. 83% of people in the New York City Hospitality Alliance did not pay July rent. I'm wondering about the future for them, the future for us, as well as the future for our employees. We need a plan.
Okay, with regard, before I speak, ask Shelley for his comments and then finalize with Drew. I believe part of the new Restaurant Act emphasizes that it's geared to minorities in color and minorities, women, and other minorities.
I think we should have a march on Washington. I'm serious. We should drive to Washington from all over the country. That's the only way we're going to be understood. You have the energy, get the group. You and Drew could do this. I'll drive my car. I'll put people in my car. We'll put waiters, managers. We could have 1 million people march on Washington, because this isn't going to change the world here today. You can do it, Melba.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Assignment, baby.
I can't do it. We can do it.
I'll help.
Because
Drew
what
will help.
Melba and everybody said, and just before I get for Drew for the comments, the allied industries, it's not only the restaurants. When you talk about the catering business, it's the people who rent the tent. It's the furniture rentals. It's for the weddings and the bar mitzvahs. It's the suit, the manufacturers, the clothing manufacturers.
March on
the retailers
Washington.
going.
You wanna be first? This is how you're going to
The rippling effect is totally around every industry. So we have to get things resolved because we can't move. We're sitting in a void land and we're not moving. Drew.
I would just say that the restaurant business, a lot of it's high risk, high reward. Now it's high risk, no reward. But old guys like me and Shelley, we made our money. We worked hard. We made our money over the years. And I had a grandmother who said, save every dollar that you ever made, which I did. So I'm one of the cheapest people. So if it all ends, it's not guys like me. I look at Cedric, I look at Douglas, I look at Melba. I want the future to be bright for them. But right at this moment, unless we get a straight answer, we don't know what direction we're going to be able to go in. So I'm just waiting. Best case scenario, Michael, give us something. Give us something that we can, if I can open even at 25%, at least that gives me a little bit of life. That's all. But
Is-
thank you for putting this group together, Michael.
And in the
What's
comments,
your view, Michael? March on what? What's your view? How are we going to
I
change
think
this thing?
we have to move and protest and try to get something accomplished.
Protest. I
But
like
I think
protest.
in
Calm
reality, the same way that if you ever call Drew's telephone, you get the following: eat. He says, eat in Tribeca. The comment is, eat in New York City. Go visit the restaurants, feel comfortable, try to be there, go to the catering,
Okay,
work with
right.
them.
Let's march on Washington. We'll each bring a dish of food to show them how much we care. We'll feed them. We'll stuff their mouths with food and they'll appreciate it.
Bring the matzo ball soup, Shelley. I'll be there.
That's all.
I'd like to thank
Everybody
Cedric,
bring something
Drew,
to the
Shelley,
world. That's a movement. Rick.
Nova.
Bring
This is
food
Mike
to
Stoller,
Washington.
to the Stoller Report,
Washington's money to us.
and the
There's
Emperor's
our
title
action, not
webinar
bullshit.
series. Thank you for all being
Love you,
here.
Rick. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.